doesn't need to be. No, it doesn't.
Okay. Okay. We didn't even test our mics. We're here. Good. That's a great way to start.
Okay, let's start over.
Redo. Fix my hair. Oh my God, I got this freaky thing going on here.
That's affectionately known as shenanigans.
Good morning, humanity. All right. Please let us know in the comments if you can hear us. Where are the comments?
They're coming.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. We have Lori on board and Marianne on board. Yay! Thank you for being here. Happy New Year's too.
Yeah.
Sorry, things got a little discombobulated last week, but it's okay. We're here now. That's what matters.
And as you can tell, we have a new backdrop.
We do. It probably changed, but this is where it is now. Thank you for letting us know you hear us. That's great.
Excellent.
Yeah. Now, I just will warn you ahead of time. You might hear some cat shenanigans going on behind us.
Cats.
If you hear that, it's our cat and Carla's cat.
Trying to sort their crap out. They need some timeline work.
They need some therapy, really.
Some therapy.
But anyway, so you might hear them go at each other like that. And they might even jump up here. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
He's busy eating.
So we've only been here
2 days, 2 nights.
2 nights. Yeah, 2 nights. So in one full day. So yeah. So the cats are still adjusting.
Yeah. Figuring their shit out.
So where are we, you ask?
Welcome to our lives.
Well, we moved again.
So we were in Sturgeon Bay, then we were in Hoover Bay. Now we're in Alberta Bay.
We are officially at, well, it's not in Spruce Grove, thank goodness. We're out in the country, but it's outside Spruce Grove.
So that's Edmonton,
Yes.
where we had planned on coming originally.
Yes.
So we
And
had
then-
that 1 month interlude.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're nomads. You just kind of like go, okay, that's where we're going now. Rob, you want to come say hi? Nothing like putting you on the spot.
Come on, say hi. No problem. Headlamp and all.
The travels keep continuing. Yes, the travels do keep continuing.
Come say hi.
This is
This is
Rob.
Rob. He's another fellow that's here.
Yeah, living them.
To learn from everybody.
We're all kind of hanging out together here. Yeah, at Carlotta Acres, actually. Ooh, I just gave away our location. So I knew it. Lori said, I knew it. You're close to me. Yay! That means a coffee time is in order in person, Lori. That's what that means.
Imagine that.
Marianne says, hi, Rob. So yeah, so we're Albertaites now. Is that how you say that?
Well,
Albertans.
we don't officially moved.
No, we haven't. But what does official actually mean?
What does that mean? That means you've.
That's a whole other conversation,
That's
isn't it,
another-
Rob? Whole other conversation.
discussion.
We won't go there today.
So we're here.
No, we are. Why can't I get my hair to just sit down? Like sit down.
See, that's affectionately known as shenanigans.
You
Because
would,
it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't. But on that note, you would only 25 to 30 minutes southwestish of you. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, that's a quick trip. That's a quick trip. And you will have to find a good coffee shop for us because we don't know the local coffee shops.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not hooked into the scene.
Yeah. And we would rather not be Tim Hortons or Starbucks. We like more local coffee shops. We think they tend to be a little more genuine, a little more comfy.
Yeah, but it's good
more...
to support local people. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like that. So anyway, it was a very fast trip here to Alberta.
With minimal stuff on the roof of the truck.
This is the lightest, I can honestly, this is the lightest for travel. It was quite nice.
I think it took like 2 hours maximum to pack.
Yes, it did. But it was also unbelievably cold out.
It was minus 800, so I had to.
So I got to sit in the truck while Kevin did all the packing, and he just came to get me a couple times. So
and
he
the truck
needed me to
just
help.
ran for 2 hours straight.
It did. It did. It was just too damn cold to get out. My fingers froze as soon as I got out, though. I didn't have the proper gear. My winter clothes were packed in a bin up there, as usual. As usual. So, yeah. I like that, Marianne. Yes, support local, piss off a globalist. Love it. And that is the most effective way to do that, right? If we just stop all the stuff, which we're all guilty of, let's face it. You don't miss us, you're full of shit. Only been a few days.
Really?
Just teasing.
Because the thing that, I mean, supporting local and stuff, that's important, but they make it tough. Because
they do.
Here's so before we left Thunder Bay, I needed to do a little bit of work on the truck. And
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
It wasn't serious.
No, it wasn't. Thank God.
It needed to be done.
Yeah.
So I MO local first. So I start looking around, finding the places and the things, and went to Ford. Of course, that's an $8 million part. Go to a next guy, that's a $150 part. But I need two of them. And then I went to a third place, which was a bigger name, but it was still a local guy that owned it.
Yeah. Oh
and
I'm sorry, I'm just frigging with my hair here. Yeah, carry on, Kevin.
And he was looking at his system, and he says, "Well, we can get them, but we don't know if it's going to be 2 weeks or 2 months."
No,
and I'm like,
no big gap in like possibilities for delivery one timing.
To confirm me that.
And we're like, okay, we have 3 days because we got to get to Alberta.
So while I was in the store, he says, "Well, let me look one more spot." Where does he look? Amazon. And lo and behold, Amazon had the parts 2 for $160, not $150 each.
And it could be delivered in 2 days.
You know, so I mean,
how do you compete with that? Like, that is really tough.
It's unfortunate because even I had one other part to change. It was that I had to put a new clutch kit on my air compressor, my air conditioning.
Marianne says our connection's choppy.
Yeah.
We were afraid it was going to happen.
Yeah. So we'll try and talk slower so that the choppiness is.
Shit. How are we going to deal with that? Anyway.
I can move the phone.
Where's your phone?
Over by the window.
Oh.
I just don't know where the 10,000 towers are here.
Well, there's one just over.
I think there was one
over that.
There's a school over there, and they usually put them around schools. So
they like to fry kids' brains with them. I'm sorry your connection's choppy, you guys.
I'll move my phone and we'll see if that doesn't.
Yeah. Make sure you have nothing else turned on your phone. Because if you have anything else open, it'll make it go slow. I'm just saying, it will. Does Rob have ExploreNet? No. No, we're using our cell phones. We're in the country, you guys. This is what happens. Like better. Do you like that I can sit here and look out?
Yeah, look at Bama's.
Look at those. All in the past. That's really cool. I gotta go. You can't? Oh, damn.
The male will come up and will try to kiss you.
Oh.
So you can get-
Oh, so I'll get a nice slobbery kiss.
Llama kiss.
Llama kisses.
Those the ones that spit you, or are those they are?
Oh, that's right. They spit. I forgot about that from when I was a kid going to the zoo.
Those are love spits.
Yeah. Jeepers.
And there's some yaks around here too. That's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't
and-
instant.
It'll say
really
we have
weird.
3, but we'll actually have hundreds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the StreamYard doesn't show us the real. I don't know why. It's strange. We typically get about 1,200. Yeah. Yeah. Hi guys.
Back again
Let us know if you see us.
and hear us.
please,
Because
and
it
hear
says our
us.
mic's working, but
Yeah. It could be deceiving us, Sometimes these things, technology likes to screw around with us. There. Welcome back. Yay.
right.
Thank you, Lori. Thanks for sticking it out.
yeah.
Waiting those 2 minutes that we had to get connected to the internet. Okay, so we're trying a new connection now besides our cell phone, so maybe this will be better. So you guys let us know if it is. Hear and see you again. Excellent. Excellent. I'm all excited now, Lori, that you're so close, because I'm like, I want to go for a coffee date. Where are we going? Where are we going?
Well, I got to go to Home Depot today. Here, more.
Oh no,
you
I don't need more. Yes, Home Depot.
Yeah, I got to exchange some bolts.
So, Lori, Marianne, the bell rang in. My hubby's 50th.
Excellent.
Oh, nice. I turned 50 in March. So it's our 50th year. Nice. I don't know why we get so excited about these even numbers like 50, 40. I guess it's because it's the shift, like the shift.
The real number to get excited about would be 222 if you can make it that far,
222.
or 11. I don't know, just whatever.
Kevin, oh my God. You got to find a good copy spot since I'm a Timmy's girl. No, Timmy's. Oh. You know what? We used to, of course, when I married Kevin 18 years ago, he was a Timmyaholic. And that's, I made my own coffee at home, but if I did happen to be out for a hockey game with the kids or something, sure, we'd go to Tim Hortons, right, and get a coffee.
We used to road trip knowing where all the Tim Hortons were.
We did initially.
And we had road tripped across the country so many times that we could literally plan our trip by Timmy's stops.
Yeah. And then we became coffee snobs. I admit it. We did. We totally became coffee
We
snobs. And we were
switched.
like, we're not going to go to Timmy's anymore. We're going to go to like things like Starbucks. And oh my God. And then we were like, okay, enough of that
That's enough
too.
of that.
And we would always just seek out, like, for instance, okay, here's a for instance for you. On our way here, we stopped at some little,
Saskatoon.
it wasn't quite Saskatoon. No, I don't mean for coffee where we spent the night. We spent the night in some
Yorkton.
roadside motel in Yorkton. And let
Yorkton.
me tell you, that was like a blast from the past.
It was awesome.
It was so cool,
Yeah.
but it was like these tiny little rooms from the 70s. It was totally stuck in the 70s.
And
like,
that's all you need.
it's all you need when you
Perfect.
just want to
83
sleep.
bucks,
You just
love
want
it.
to sleep, maybe have a
Plug your truck
shower.
in, done.
That's it. And so it worked great and it was cheap. But anyway, so the next day we waited until we were coming into Saskatoon to get our coffee. Like we didn't stop anywhere else. We didn't go to Timmy's. We didn't give in and go to Timmy's.
Well, we did make one stop at Tim's for the washroom.
Oh,
And
yeah, they're
and I
the
had a
greatest.
biscuit.
Tim Hortons is the greatest for washrooms. So if you're traveling, go to Tim Hortons because they're almost always clean. I do find that the washrooms at Tim Hortons are mostly clean.
But anyway.
Walmart's kind of, but Tim Hortons pretty good. So for bathroom stops, love Tim Hortons.
So when we left that morning, it would have been Monday morning.
My job as the passenger is to
was
find
to
a coffee
source
shop.
coffee shop.
So
On
there's
route.
multiple coffee shops in Saskatoon. Okay, multiple coffee shops in Saskatoon. The thing is, which one's the closest to the highway, right? Well, I don't know if I picked the closest one to the highway,
Probably not.
but according
Well,
to
it was decent. It was okay.
it was okay,
decent.
10 minutes off the highway. But for Kevin to have good coffee,
Away we go.
that's worth it, right? So we went to this place, and I was very impressed, I will say. It was this little coffee roastery in Saskatoon and local.
Saskatchewan, man.
It was
Saskatchewan. I'm from Saskatchewan. You know that reference? That's a movie reference. You know.
I don't
You
know
know that
what
reference,
movie.
Rob?
I don't know what movie.
Saskatchewan?
Saskatchewan. What?
I think it's Grown Ups.
Oh dear
2,
God!
I think.
Oh my God! See, this is Kevin. He would remember a quote like that.
Yeah, but it was just so funny because they put this, I don't know, stereotypical kind of Canadian in the movie,
Yeah.
right? Who was showing off all his muscles at the water park, and the wives of the boys are
Yeah.
just ogling over him. So he comes over and then they say something and he has this dorky high pitch.
Yes, I remember that now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Laney, thanks from Saskatchewan, like kind of Frenchish, kind of, I don't know, it was weird. It was just
Weird.
so bizarre.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm from Saskatchewan.
Anyway, long story short, we find this little local coffee roastery that started in Saskatchewan. Now you got me all screwed up.
Saskatoon.
Saskatoon. And so we go in not expecting, we thought it was a little cafe. We walk in, it's a roastery with self-serve cafe thing, coffee, what are they called? Coffee dispensers or whatever. And it was really just a roastery. But the coffee was cheap. It was only $2 for a cup of coffee. I mean, you had to serve yourself, but it was fine, right? And we got to try totally different coffee we've never tried before. I don't know if anyone here in Alberta has had Rampage coffee. It's actually really good. I was very impressed with it, actually.
And the interesting thing about it was that the owners support programs for veterans.
Yes, they're very, very
Yeah.
pro. They're very patriotic, you might say, right? And they're
They
very,
support programs for veterans.
yeah. So yeah, it was really good, Lori. And you know what? I have to admit, I did something I don't ever do when we get coffee, but I put a pumpkin spice liquid that they have there in it. Okay, that might have helped to make it taste really good, but still, it was really good. And normally coffee has, I find a lot of coffee has a bitter taste because coffee is bitter, right?
It's not.
Generally speaking. But this I found had no bitterness. But again, it could have been the pumpkin spice liquid stuff that I put in it. But either way, it was good. I liked it. I even said to the girl, I'm like, oh, she said, oh, we really want to expand into more territories and, get our business out there more. I was like, well, maybe they'd want to sponsor the show.
At least
So-
one of the shows.
Yeah. So I did get their information and I was checking them out on the way here to make sure that they were aligned with who we are. From what I can tell, it seems decent, but I'm not sure.
So
But anyway,
there's
Rampage
some new
coffee.
beginnings on the trip.
There were new beginnings.
2 new beginnings.
But what happens with new beginnings? First thing that has to happen, you have to have endings
Yeah,
in order to get those new beginnings.
that's right.
Yeah.
Closing time.
Yes, that is a song. Songs are my shtick. You're the film guy. I'm the
Every new
music guy.
beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
And that's right.
Mhm.
He's stealing my role here.
Well,
I feel a little
I
disjointed.
didn't feel
with
like
that.
it was coming anytime soon. So
I don't know.
I had to throw it in there.
Closing time. That's Semisonic, I think, that sings that actually.
All the time.
It is all
Yeah.
about timing.
That too.
But it's so true, right? You can't have a new beginning unless you have a ending to go along with that. And I'd say happy ending.
Mhm.
Yep. Marianne said, see, she knows that song.
There you go.
Well, of course you know that song. You're
Yeah.
from my generation. We was on the radio a million times a day.
Yeah.
Right. And they played it. It was an iconic song that they played at the end of the bar night, being at the pub or the bar, whatever. They played Closing Time. Yeah. I won't sing it right now because my voice is not on, but it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So endings for sure. I think that some of the stuff we've listened to on the 21-hour road trip definitely indicate that there are a lot of endings happening right now and have been.
Like collectively around all across the planet. Yeah.
And
if you want to look at it as cosmically or astrologically or
too,
whatever,
yeah.
there's all that stuff happening as well. And if you guys want some, I've never been someone who's into astrology and stuff like that, but this is like beyond like your typical astrology stuff, right? Pamela Gregory is amazing. She's on YouTube. Pamela Gregory. She's so, what's the word? Knowledgeable. She's so wise. And she might be a very advanced astrologist, but it goes beyond that, honestly. So if you ever want to look up someone, and she's super positive and she's very,
but the thing is that with all
really,
of this
really
information,
good. I really enjoy her.
I mean, even with Greg Braden, like we are part of a 26. The Earth goes through 26,000 year cycles, right? Like actual Earth cycles. And within that 26,000 years, there's 5,125 year cycles.
See, this is the details, man. He remembers all this shit.
So we are right now, at the end of the fifth cycle of the 26,000 years.
Yes.
So there's all kinds of things ending. And this is what people have been saying. We're entering the age of Aquarius.
The golden age. But this is
the beginning of the next 26,000 year cycle.
And ancient indigenous knew this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ancient.
Yeah, they just inherently knew all of this.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, the interesting thing about Greg is that he's looked into the ice core samples, which take him back 500,000 years. So they're able to chart based on what they find in each of the layers of ice over time and history. They're able to see CO2 levels in the atmosphere and all sorts of other things. So,
yes, I know, Marianne. I knew you were going to throw it in there. I knew you were going to throw that in there.
But there's now discussion that even the calendar is all buggered.
Well, this is what she's talking about, because technically the new year starts April 1st.
But think about this, because if I think in the past, each month, there used to be 13 months in the calendar with 28 days per month, and it used to follow the lunar cycles.
Yeah.
Right? And if you think about that, the new year is always changing.
Yeah.
Always. It's not April 1st. It's something else totally.
Yeah.
Right? So every year, because it's 13. So, and the concept of crystalline time and a bunch of other stuff that's coming in.
You could go down so many rabbit holes. Totally could.
But the point is,
but I like what Lori said. New beginning of greater things. Goodbye to shittier things. Right. Sounds good to me. Yeah, sounds good to me. Yeah. So
fun times.
But it's funny how we will typically wait until this New Year, thing to do resolutions and to say, yeah, this year I'm going to do this and this year I'm going to do that. And we all do it. Actually, this year we didn't talk about resolutions at all or anything, did we?
No.
We totally weren't in that mindset. But yeah, there's been none of that. The only thing I can say is that I've said this year, but I don't mean this year as in it has to be 2025. I just mean now is the time for me to do something that I just know that it's time for me to do it.
And again, it's time.
And it just so happens that it's going to be this year. But yeah, did you guys set resolutions this year? I don't do resolutions. Okay, Marianne doesn't do resolutions. But did you make any of these sort of like declarations like this year I'm going to fill in the blank or I'm going to stop doing blah? Did you do that? Tell us if you did. We'd like to know.
They're made to be broken. Yeah.
They are made to be broken. Well,
so one of the things that we could possibly look forward to and move towards is working on ourselves.
Yeah.
As a conscious decision to, I don't want to say release our past, but release the things that hold you back. And
what? I don't have any baggage, none whatsoever. I am perfect.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's only got a freezer left in it.
Rob's over there being a
That's
smart
right.
ass. Yeah. We don't have any baggage. We have a truckload. Yeah. So Lori says, I try to better myself every day and not just once a year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the point. Right.
But I think the greatest thing that we can do as individuals is to do that work. And what that then does is that helps to clear away the energy of the old, because that really is the old paradigm.
Yeah.
Right. The old paradigm of fear and loss and lack and all of that sort of thing that we've been programmed, humanity is in general has been programmed with for millennia. Is the energy that needs to end, and it is ending.
And it does tend to be very confronting for people when they think about it truly like ending something that's been there for say their entire lives, been there for decades, been there for millennia, even if you want to look at it at a global level.
Because you even look at belief structures, right? I'm going to bet that a lot of those belief structures had egoic humans in the way.
No.
Right? To create those belief structures, and quite likely with agendas. And I mean, it's just a suggestion. Yeah. But what if everything that those belief structures have, and I want to say led us to believe, because if you're in that, right, you're probably looking to some authority for the belief structure, doctrine, or whatever it is. But what if those are either incomplete, not true, right, or any derivation thereof? Are you prepared for that?
It's such a big word,
derivation.
Is it a real word?
Well, I mean, when you think about
look it up, you guys.
When you think about the tactics that have been used, they'll create a story with like 2% truth. So some of it is true.
Sure.
Right. But the rest is embellished in order to create a certain response within the listener. Right.
Right.
So, and that's just
the way it is.
The way they do it.
That's just the way it is. Yep.
So yeah. So we watched an interesting movie last night.
For the 50th time.
Yeah. We've seen it a lot because it actually is part of an idea that we had to help people transform.
We're not getting into that.
But we're not getting into that. But it was very interesting because it was about managing perceptions.
It's a slow moving movie, so you have to really like be patient with it and sit with it. And you do have to pay attention to details and stuff. And so, yeah, so it's not like some big exciting, like, I don't know, adventure, kick and punch movie.
But it's about like that. How perceptions can be managed to produce results. So the reason it's an important kind of idea is that that's what's been going on.
Okay, so who here has seen the movie The Game? It's from 1997, I think, is when it got released. So it's not new.
Douglas.
Michael Douglas, yeah, he was
Sean
the main.
Penn.
Yeah, they were the main actors. But if you've seen it, just let us know in the comments because I'm curious if you've seen it. You know what, Kevin? I think I'm good.
All right.
I don't
More for
need
me.
any more coffee. I think I'm good.
More for me. Excellent.
Derivation,
Derivation.
the obtaining or developing from a source or origin. Okay, so it is real.
Yeah.
Is that the word you use? Derivation.
Derivation.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Marianne. See, she looked it up. Now we know.
Now, was that a manipulated Webster's definition?
Oh God, Kevin. We're not going there.
No, we're not.
We'll just leave it as it is.
Oh, here we go. We might get some cat shenanigans going on. Diesel?
Oh my God. We're only surrounded by 1, 2, 3,
Four
4 cats right now. Dobby's over there on the stairs, just with his hair up, just waiting. Who's going to come and bug me now?
Dobby's a little lover. He's minding his own business over there.
Oh, now we get Diesel coming closer.
Google. And if that ain't an opinion generating search engine,
Oh, dear
right
God.
there.
Dear God. What did we hear about Google, though? If you search something on Google, it takes a small, like a very minute amount. No, but it takes a minute amount of
Power.
Okay. You guys might not know this, but if you search something on ChatGTP, which is that AI generator thing or whatever, it takes an obtuse amount of power, you guys. Like, unbelievable, insane amount of power for one search on ChatGTP and this is why they are looking now to make data centers, build data centers all over the place, by the way, including Alberta, because that chick that's the premier here, she's not necessarily a good chick, you guys. Okay. And she's all for this shit.
She's
Danielle
saying some
Smith,
of the right things, but
yeah, but she says those things just to keep certain people just sort of thinking that she's
playing the game, right?
Yeah, she's just playing the game, like Pierre Polyev. Yes, we broke down and listened to that interview. But anyway, Danielle is not what a lot of people thought she was originally when they voted her in. And she's all for digging up all the resources in Alberta. She's all for it. We listened to her being interviewed. She's all for it. And she's all for building these big data centers because it's big money coming into Alberta to do it, you know.
But it's great because we have cold climate.
Yes.
Right. So they don't have to spend the energy money on cooling this facility.
Yeah.
Because 7 months is cooler weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, like WEF, etc. So we have to be very cognizant of this stuff. But part of what's going on are these structures are also, they're ending, and the people will actually end up being the ones that come more online, shall I say, with regards to their power. And it's very important because we have to really truly get back to who we actually are, because we're not what they say we are.
Yeah.
Right. Or what they have created us to be. Right. That's why the management of perceptions is so important, because they've managed our perceptions in order to manipulate and control our living being. Right. So
definitely
we have to get back to the knowledge and the wisdom of who we actually are.
And how do we do that? First of all,
step one, clear away your shit.
Well, I was just going to say, first of all, let's get back to what we started to talk about, which is the game, because in that movie, that's exactly what occurred over a period of a week or so.
In the end,
when they take him through this process. And it's really it's an extreme process.
It was an extreme intervention. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it was an extreme
intervention.
That's
what I thought of, like in the middle of the night. That movie was about an extreme intervention.
Yes.
Because this guy was an ass.
Yeah, he was a multi-bazillionaire, but I mean, he was miserable. He was lonely. He wouldn't have admitted those things, but he was just, he was a total ass. He was a pompous jerk. And his brother had gone through this process before him and wanted to gift it to him. So he did for his birthday. But the point is that he had to go through what typically humans expect, the human psyche actually expects and looks for in order to transform, and that is crises. right? Crises, situations, and circumstances that really push our boundaries. And, you know, like we're always, what do? We wait till things get so goddamn bad that we have no choice but to do something to intervene on ourselves, or we're going to head down.
Because
I don't know.
even
It's not
stronger than the fight for survival
Right.
is the fight to keep things familiar.
Right.
So,
and in some cases, we wait till we're nearly knocking on death's door before we finally make a change, you know. And this is the human mind, right? This is human psychology.
and sometimes the mind needs that chemical, and I don't want to say trauma, but it's a response.
It's a biochemical
physical,
response.
physiological response to an external event.
Yeah, in order
Right?
to
In order to
push it over the edge or towards, you know, something different.
Mhm.
So that's really, in a nutshell, that's really what the game is about. It's about a man that gets taken through all these different
It's an extreme
scenarios.
intervention.
Yeah. To
And
push,
a lot of people were in on it,
yes, in his
including
life.
other actors.
Yeah.
In
So-
order to affect that.
Yeah, you might
intervention.
say that, Marianne. Like, typically people are gluttons for punishment. I mean, it's a shame actually that we have to, you know, go through that process in order to make these shifts. But it really is, it's unfortunately a deep programming. It's a deep programming in our psyches, and that's why it's so important for us to
But
do
it's-
the individual work
But
to
it's
clean that stuff out.
But it's at the humanity level,
It is.
right? So this has been in place for an extremely long time.
It's collective consciousness, you might say.
So we're all traumatized. So
No.
yeah. We not only have collective trauma,
Yeah.
but we have societal, like, and cultural trauma.
Yeah.
We have, and when you think about humanity level stuff, that's up here, but every single, and I want to say layer, meaning as the chunks get smaller, right down to your level, there's been trauma at every level,
Oh yeah.
right?
And I mean, not to diminish anything, and we've talked about this before on here, but you know, there's the little traumas and then there's the big traumas, right? But you know, you don't, even the little ones, we don't have to call them traumas, but you know, it's just for frame of reference, right? These are just, we call them significant emotional events, right? That's what we call them in the work we do.
Mhm.
So significant emotional events. Either way, they were significant because they got trapped in our energy systems, they get trapped in our bodies, trapped in our minds, and they became something that blocked us, right? So that's why they're significant. It's not about whether or not the event itself was what many people would deem as significant, but it was significant to that person, to that individual, right? To that psyche. Right,
And-
there?
Yeah. And the thing is that the best way we have found anyway is by decision, right? Say, okay, I'm going to do something about this.
Yeah.
But then to discover what the root cause of that is.
Yeah.
So
Wait, just so you guys know, this is a Kevin teaching moment. So make sure you have your coffee, your tea, and just,
notepad.
yeah, get your notepad, take some notes. Okay, so I'll drink my coffee and be quiet for a moment and let
Really?
Kevin
Give
have
me
his
the
teaching moment.
sage finally. Holy cow.
The man that I forced
I can't get a word in edgewise.
to come out of his shell and go on stage and come in front of the camera.
Mhm.
So I forced
him, yeah. That
okay.
was my traumatic.
So I'll just sit
experience.
here and just be quiet.
Somehow I know you
And just-
probably don't believe any of that.
It's true.
But root cause work is extremely important because the root is where the change can happen at multiple different levels, right? In the quantum field, in the mind, right? At the energy level. And the thing is that when you actually apply a concept like root cause, is that very idea means that there was a beginning to that, right? So when that experience was experienced, you were only doing the best you could with the resources you had when that experience occurred, right? So when you think about change and the ability to come through and actually let go of something, what does that actually mean? What that means is to resolve in yourself that which has gone before. So when you are here now with the decision to want to change something, you're dealing with a different set of resources.
Yeah, and we talked
right?
about
And all the work you've ever done in life are those resources, because they're mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, cultural, financial, geographical. Like, think about it. All of these equal resources.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're internal and partly external, but they're directly connected to you.
Yeah.
So if you had that same experience now that was at the root cause time, and I use time as an abstract concept because like past and future are just
concepts,
ideas.
Yeah.
Right. And we use these to say, oh, well, yeah, yesterday I went to the store, or tomorrow I got to go and to the dentist or whatever. And we use this as a way, as a frame of reference. But realistically, they're just abstract concepts because all we ever have is right now. So when we think about the resources we have now versus the resources we may have had back when we experienced said event, right? It's usually completely different. And the major difference between then and now is your decision to want to deal with it. Because I've been around people that have been in extremely hard environments, disgusting environments, evil environments, if I have to use that word, yet their psyche now is not necessarily affected by what they experienced. So how is that possible?
Anymore? Yeah.
You know, we've had people that have, and I could tell you some stories that they have told me that would just throw your day off, shall I say.
Well, let's not throw people's day off.
No, and I'm not going to do that.
No.
But the point is that they have a completely separate set of resources in dealing with that particular event when it occurred, right? That did not necessarily affect them in the now. So if you're dealing with trauma or a decision or something somewhere that you know is holding you back, even anxiety.
Guilt is a big one.
Right? And
Regret.
guilt and regret. So it's important to know that when you decide to deal with something and you actually discover what the root cause is, and you take the resources you have now and you go back and experience that event, it's like,
it's not the same.
It's not the same at all.
It's not the same.
But here's the magic. The magic that exists with root cause work is that if that root cause, the very first time you experienced whatever or made a decision, what happens if you go before it? What happens? Where's the emotion? Where's the event? Where's the experience? Right? It's not there. So there has been a point in your energetic past that has experienced a state of being without that trauma.
With no fear.
With no fear, with no anger.
No sadness.
No sadness.
Yeah.
That decision wasn't made.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that, Marianne. I see what you wrote there. The biggest mistake the deletes did was the internet. Deletes.
Obsoletes.
She said that said that was an autocorrect, but that's funny. You could call them deletes. That works too.
Or
right?
the obsoletes.
Obsoletes. Yeah, it all works. Yeah.
So this is the funny thing.
Yeah.
Is that when you make the change at the root cause level, logically, everything that happened from that root cause level to now is different.
It gets shifted
It
energetically.
gets shifted. So this is
Yeah.
quantum work.
It is quantum level work.
Right?
And see, the thing is that, you know, Marianne mentioned that I say you're only as good as you're educated. Well, that's okay. Then we have to get into the definition of what does educated mean? Because do you mean formal education, or do you mean education from life experiences? Because my understanding of what education means, educo, it comes from the root word educo, which means to draw from
draw
within, like to draw out from within, right?
So that means there's inherent knowledge,
What?
just like inherent rights.
Intuition,
like-
maybe?
Hmm.
Yeah, intuition. And we
Hmm.
all have it. We do. We all have it. We aren't all tuned into it necessarily, but we all have intuition. Like, I know Kevin has, you know, for many years, he's sort of, shall I say, admired me.
I could never measure up. My goodness me.
Yeah, to me, because I'm so intuitive, and you know, and he just never understood why I didn't just embrace that intuition and like get out there and like use it to help people, which I did. I did use it to help people. I just wasn't doing it the way that he thought that I should. But anyway, he just would be like, it was almost like a looking up, right? This is what we do, right? We put people on pedestals. And we think that they have more, know more, see more, just whatever. Okay.
Seymour, Under the Bleachers by Seymour Butts.
Jeez, Kevin, honest to God.
That was a quote from a movie last night.
Anyway, the point is that, what is the point? The point is we all have this intuitive ability, intuitive knowledge. We already have all the information, I believe. We have all the wisdom information of the from the universe, okay? In us, if you want to say in us, in our field, in us, whatever. Okay? We all have the capability of tapping into it. It's just we don't all develop it. We don't all cultivate it, right? And when we have too many of these sort of significant emotional events that we've talked about that have created blocks in our field or in our mind-body complex, if you want to call it that too. There's lots of ways to describe it. But I mean, is when we have all these blocks, those blocks end up causing us and preventing us from tapping in, right, to that higher knowledge, right? Excuse me. So that would be another reason why it would be important to clear all that stuff out so that you can really tune in to your higher self, right? Your intuition, source, whatever you want to call it, right? I kind of think it's all from the same place, right?
But you have to shed.
Yes. You have to
the
clear away
energy harness of the lower level energies. So anger, fear, resentment, sadness,
shame.
There are remember, there's appropriate and warranted times.
So dear.
Mr. Shetty.
Mr. Shetty.
How are you, my friends?
Oh my God. One of our friends from India that we haven't seen for 12 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Nice to see you here, Sudhir.
So it's important to shed those energies, because the other thing too is that there are appropriate and warranted times to feel anger, feel sadness, right? But when it grips you and hangs on to you and holds you, that's the problem, right? The problem is when we allow those energies to become who we are.
Those beliefs. And
it's beliefs and it's all that sort of stuff. So
right. So the point that I was making about Kevin looking up to me because he saw, he got to firsthand experience the different experiences, the different transactions, you might say, that I've had with the other side, and just intuitively, like I have to give you a pat on the back, Kevin. Oh. I really do, because even though he questioned his own ability to tap into that intuition, he really trusted mine, right? He really, really did. And I know that sometimes I would get these sort of these intuitive hits or these messages, these downloads, and I'd be like, okay, we need to do this. And, he would question it, but he would just be like, why? And I don't know why. We just need to do it. This is what we need to do. And
I just handle the logistics
he did.
of packing all our shit and moving across
It's like
the country yet
so,
again.
So yet again, and we ended something yet again, right? And had a new beginning. So the point is that he, even though he believed, okay, this was all a belief, that he has since done very well to let go of that belief, and he's become, I would say he's become far more in touch with his intuition, absolutely. But anyway, he trusted my ability to be tapped into that, right? Into that higher source, right? So, and it's, I would say it's always worked out. It didn't always work out the way that you might think it was going to, but it's always worked out. And I mean, you know, your mom is famous for saying to us, "You guys always land on your feet." It's like, yeah. Is this a problem? It's not a problem. That's a good thing. But it's about trusting what you feel, right? Trusting what you feel. And so I got to give you kudos to you, dear, for trusting what I was feeling. And interestingly enough, because Kevin has cleared away a lot of these old beliefs and stuff, and he has worked on trusting what he feels and developing and cultivating, right, that connection. He is far more intuitive, if you want to say that. And he'll say, like, I got this feeling, or I got this message, or and I just love it. I'm just like, finally, yeah. But it's key, right? That's where discernment comes in, is when you're tapping into something beyond the thinking mind, okay? Because the thinking mind can get in the way, right? Intuition doesn't come from the brain.
Especially if you're in fear and survival.
Definitely. That's what we're talking about. If you have these emotions, these past traumas, like whatever, that are holding you back, they're going to filter, right, your perceptions. So they're going to make you think things that aren't necessarily true, because they're coming from a place of a lower frequency, lower vibration, whatever, right? So yeah. So I mean, there's no question there's value in clearing that stuff away and cultivating your intuition. Practice being in touch with it. I always would always say to my clients, I'd say, okay, I'm not interested in what you think. I want to know what you feel. So I'd say, get out of your head and get into your heart. Right?
This is the Ava teaching moment.
This is not a teaching moment. And I mean, I was doing this stuff 20 years ago with my clients, right? I'd be like, okay, get out of your head. I don't want to hear. That's where the story lives, right?
That's
up in the head is where the story lives. I don't want to hear all the story. I mean, I'll listen to a point, and then I'd be like, okay, that's enough of the story now. Now I want you to get down into your heart and tell me what you feel, right?
Okay. I have to put this up.
Why? What is it?
Okay.
Marianne, the government loves to keep people in fear. Yes.
No.
Oh, right.
No.
It's the way that it's being framed. I know what you're going to say.
You keep yourself in fear.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So here's the next lesson, is that anything that's outside of us is just outside of us. It's our perception of what's outside of us.
Yes.
That allows us to mentally define what is outside of us.
Okay, so now here.
But
Oh, here comes but.
If we allow our perceptions to get in the way of what's out there, then we have to own our perceptions of what's out there.
Okay, so
because that's our reality.
Okay, so in a nutshell, that's just sort of like it's just a reframe. Okay, it's just a change of the language, because
there's nothing outside of you that can cause you to feel anything, unless you get punched in the arm.
Yeah, it's
right?
Unless it's your survival.
If you get punched in the arm, you will feel the result of that impact, right?
But
if someone starts calling you names, or the weather, or the highways, or other drivers, or the government, or fill in the blank blah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If you allow that to get in the way, right, you have to really own your perceptions of what those are, because that's the manipulation of perception to create in the populations the result that they want.
Yeah.
This is what we're saying, is we have to do something different. And that's why the root cause work is so critical.
Okay, so I just want to touch on, though, what Marianne is saying here. You're correct. The government attempts, okay, through its mind manipulation, its propaganda.
The intention is there
yes.
to produce a result in
Yes.
the psyche of the population. 100%.
Yes, there's no question, and it's we all know here, like people all know here, it's beyond the government, right? The governments are all just puppets too. But I mean, it's definitely the intention to mind manipulate, to brainwash. Really, it is brainwashing. I mean, and brainwashing can get used in the wrong context, but this is what it is, okay? Because they create situations that bring about that survival, that fight or flight mechanism inside the human psyche, you know? And then when you have people in that state, you can manipulate the fuck out of
Whatever
them,
you want.
right? When you have people in a state of fight or flight, you can throw anything out there that they may perceive as, you know, saving their lives, right?
Saving
Helping
grandma's
them.
lives.
Yeah, all that. And they'll be like, okay, I'll do it, whatever you say, right?
I want you
For
to do
sure.
sit-ups so that I can be healthy. I want you to wear a mask so that I feel better.
Yeah. You know what, Lori? That's true. And I just want to say that could be a whole other conversation. And in fact, I'm glad you brought that up, because we actually talk about those different levels of the human psyche and psychology in our training that we do.
It's quite defined.
It is, because it is
quite defined.
Very much so. And once you really get these different levels of psychology, I go like this, but it's really not a hierarchy, but it's just for frame of reference.
It's not any one better than the other.
It's not.
It's just a frame of reference.
And we actually oversimplify it in our introductory work. But you know what? It's just to keep it simple. It's just to give people a frame of reference. It's just to give people a foundational knowledge about why it happens the way that it does. And when you understand these different levels of psychology, and you can see how different groups, right, how they operate at that level, it makes so much sense, you guys. Like, it truly does. It makes sense in a way you just go, I totally see it now. Oh my God. Like, that's so obvious. WTAF.
Yes.
WTAF, right? But yeah, like, and so once you get it, and I'm going to use the word, once you understand, okay, once you grasp that subject, you just go, then you can see it everywhere, right? You can see it everywhere. And they know this. They
Obviously.
They know this. Those who are using the mind manipulation against the population, they know this. They know all of this. This stuff is
okay. So
this is what they know.
All right. So that's honestly, that's just a big so what.
It is a big so what.
Because we now know this. More people are becoming aware of the shenanigans.
Absolutely.
Which is spectacular. But how do we move forward? And we believe that we're part of that equation on assisting people to move forward and let go, like actually let go of. When you can take lifetimes of anger, okay, in terms of triggers or sadness or fear, and dissolve those inside of 15 minutes, that's powerful, right? We actually have to put a warning on this stuff because it changes perceptions, personality, and paradigms, right? Potentially in a very rapid way.
Which brings so I gotta jump in.
If you're afraid of that, right?
Yeah.
Then maybe that's the course for you. Just saying.
I was gonna say, if you're afraid of that, then you can go and talk to your therapist, because it won't happen fast, and you can just you can drag it out for years. Like, if you want to, you know, it's up to you.
The timing on all of this right now is so incredibly urgent.
It is. Hey, Lise.
So it's incredibly urgent.
It is.
Because
even Greg Braden saying that he knows that it's urgent.
We're at the bifurcation point.
Yeah.
Right now. And there's actually a lot of people that are connected into guides, spirit guides, all this sort of stuff. And they're all saying the same thing.
There.
Is that there's even beings that are us that have come back from the future because that technology exists, and they caution us on over adapting or adopting technology over our inherent power as a human being.
So, because what did they say? What is that saying? If you don't use it, you lose it, right? So if we give over, right? If we hand over our own innate, intuitive abilities to connect to the higher self, source, whatever you want to call it. Okay, if we transfer that over to technology, and even just being too reliant on these stupid things,
just a tool,
really. If we transfer that over to any of this technology, then we are potentially setting ourselves up to lose that connection, because you don't use it, you lose it, right? So you don't use your brain's going to shrink. You don't use a muscle, your muscle's going to get smaller, right? Or weaker. You know, this is just basic biology. This is physiology, right? It's just the way it works. So
it's our commitment to this process that Earth is going through right now to help to transform the planet from an energetic perspective, because that's what's going to make the biggest difference when we individually do our own work, and we're able to let go of the past shenanigans, right? Like truly let it go.
And we don't mean just thought at a thought level.
No, this is energetic.
This isn't going, oh yeah, I let all that go. No. We were talking about going higher, going deeper, however you want to frame it. Yeah, it's
because when we do that, we then ramp up by default the flip side of that, which is love, compassion, empathy, gratitude.
Yeah,
all of those emotions then add to the collective, which is what this planet needs right now.
Okay, so I'm going to take it a step further, all right? Because I want to ask people a question. Because I know those of you who are watching this, you have to be at a certain level of psychology that we won't get into today because it's far too much to get into. But you just have to be, okay? And if you want to look at it from I don't even like to call it this, but we're going to call it this because we have no other frame of reference for it right now. We'll just call it the freedom movement, okay? The people that were involved in the freedom movement.
We are stronger together as one, but why are we all divided?
Yeah, well, that's because of our psychology. But anyway, so what was I going to say? You totally took my train of thought and just threw it out the window. What I was going to say is that I know that so many of us came together to fight against what the government was proposing. All right. And all over the world, people did this. Okay. We resisted. Okay. We resisted. Now, I think you guys, if you've been following us for a while, you know what we've said before about resistance. Resistance causes pain.
What you resist persists.
Okay. This is true. Okay. Now, initially, we needed to come out hard with a resistance. Like we needed to come out hard and be like, no, we will not comply. These masks are stupid, blah, 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 all that stuff. We don't want to get into all the COVID bullshit right now, okay? Because we want to move beyond it. But the point is this, is that we resisted, okay? Now, we need to move beyond the resistance, okay? We need to move beyond that and get to a place of how can we now create something different. And I know we've talked about this ad nauseum in the past, but the reason I bring it up is because that has also divided a lot of people who came together during the freedom movement thing. Okay. Because there's still a lot of people inside the freedom movement that are stuck in their anger. Okay.
See, because all they know
is fighting.
No, but all they know is what they don't want.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing that. We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. Well, if you're going to keep on focusing on what you don't want, you're going to keep getting more of that bullshit.
Well, and I would say at a quantum level, you're putting more of that out into the field.
Yeah, you're feeding that energy level.
Right. So here's the irony in all of this, okay? Those of us who didn't comply, we didn't wear the mask. We didn't lock down. We still had people over to our houses. We still got together and hugged people. Imagine that. Like we were like the strong ones. We didn't get the jibby jabbies, we didn't do these things. And we have this sense of sort of like, let's face it, a lot of people got that attitude of we're a little bit better than you because we didn't fall for it. We're so good. We're so
damn you.
Yeah, like let's face it, like that happened, right? And even if you just had moments of it, you kind of pulled yourself out of it. That's great, okay? But there's still some people that are in that, right? There's no question. But my point is this: is that when you understand how energy works, okay, how the quantum field works. Just generally, you don't even need to know all the dirty down details. You just need to understand how it works. Then you need to change your mindset, even if you're those people who did not comply.
Yeah.
All right. Because if you're still dwelling on what the government did during the COVID bullshit, if you're still putting people down on social media because they did give into it and they did get the jibby jabs,
at a family member for doing A, B, C, or D.
Right. If you're still in major conflict with family members and you're whatever,
you got freaking work to do.
You've got work to do. Okay. So
we're challenging you to put your money where your mouth is, because if you want something different, you have to do something different.
Well, it's not just that, okay? I just want you to try to hear what I'm saying here, okay? Because I need you to get to the place of realizing that if you're holding these angry thoughts, if you're holding this resentment, even if it is towards the stupid government, okay,
or
whatever,
the clerk at the store,
or whoever, okay, if you're holding that, and even if you're talking a lot about that time, okay, like you remember when they did that and going on, bitching about it or whatever, complaining, you are still continuing to put that out into the field, which has been proven. Okay, this is fact. This has been proven time and time again to impact the world, okay, to impact everybody and everything on this planet. So I would challenge, I'm going to challenge you here. I'm going to make a really bold statement. Those of you who think you're so high and mighty because you did not fall for it, you were the fighter, the freedom fighter, and raw. If you are going around carrying around any of that bullshit in your mind, then you are doing no better for this planet than any of those people who are hating on you because you wouldn't go get the jab. You're doing no better. And I'm just putting it out there because I'm just saying, right? Because we have gone through those different emotions, right? I will admit, like we may have had moments, but we knew enough to pull ourselves out of it and go, no, like we're not going to stay in that. Okay. Like we had our moments of being angry and we had our moments of where we were frustrated and we've gone through that. But if you're holding on to that shit and you're continuing to even think it, bad thoughts about people or the state or whoever.
That's the energy.
Okay. That's the quantum field you are impacting, which, believe it or not,
makes it
you could be thinking that right here in Alberta, but you're affecting somebody all the way over in friggin' like India, because we are all connected by this network, by this field. All right. Mm-hmm. So this is how prayer works, you guys. This is how meditation works. This is how all this stuff works.
Us doing our own inner work to release the attachment. And you know what? Sometimes people are addicted to that.
Yep.
Because they want familiarity.
Yep.
Versus survival. So they would rather try and fight to keep things familiar, right? Than think long term and say, holy shit, like that's gonna in the end kill me. Right. So we need to get to a point where we know what's going on. We're aware of the shenanigans, but we don't dwell on the shenanigans or the effect it's had on other people or ourselves in the past. So let's do our inner work. Let's let go of the grip that these lower energetic environment energies and emotions and thought patterns have on us, and then add a more positive collective energy into the field, because this is the ascension. The ascension is shedding this bullshit.
That's right.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Right? And we're here. This is the decision point, folks. And I believe 2025 is going to be one of the most pivotal years in human history.
I fully feel that.
Right? Not only in feeling, but what we've been seeing and hearing from other people that are tapped
It's just,
in as well.
it's confirming what we were already,
right.
We've been saying this for the last few years, but this is definitely the time.
Right.
It's
So
we're
we're going to do our part. I don't want to make this a sales pitch.
It's totally a sales pitch, and you know it.
No, but people have to get to a decision point, right? Where they say, and whether it's with us or someone else, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. But the decision point needs to be, I need to freaking deal with this and let this go.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it's going to keep running the show. Because these are unconscious things.
Yeah.
Right. And they're probably not even yours. But why hang on to them then?
We take on other people's beliefs and
right
thoughts.
Throughout history, we've taken on exactly stuff. So
it's called programming for a reason. Yeah.
So we actually have put together an online, our weekend course that we've done for years.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to be doing online here coming up on the 24, 5, 6, I believe.
24th, 25th, 26th. Yeah.
If you're interested in finding out more, just reach out to Ava.
DM me.
I know you know how to do that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm working on the background technical stuff, but
thank God. I don't like that stuff. I'll admit it. I don't like it.
Right. So talk to her.
Yeah.
And
but
there is an expense, but it's an investment in yourself.
It's an investment. Yeah. So here's the thing. Okay. I do want to mention this along because we've been saying all this stuff now. And I know you guys have heard this before, but guess what? Repetition is how we learn. Right. So anyway, I just want to mention that, we've talked about forgiveness lots in past episodes. Okay. And this comes up for me because the other day there was a conversation going on somebody's post, and it was based in general. The post was, maybe you should forgive your parents, right? Because, and then it listed all these reasons why you should. Ultimately, it comes down to, they were doing the best they could, and they were hurting too, and so they were trying to parent you with all of those limited resources, blah blah blah. The concept's great. Okay. So I agreed with it, but my caveat to it was, too many people have this belief that if they forgive somebody for something that they had done to harm them, then it means they have to like them.
Or they're condoning the action.
Which
ain't true.
It is so not true. It is very possible, to forgive anything, even these obsoletes in the world that are a bunch of psychopaths. We can forgive them for their limited resources as being psychopaths, right? We can. But we can. Because the thing is you have to remember, forgiveness is for you. Okay. Just wait. I'm on it. I am on a
tear.
Tangent here. Shut that. So here's the thing. Kevin, you're interrupting me. Okay. So if you forgive, it does not mean that you even have to be in relationship with that individual, okay, or that group of people. I know for a lot of people, it comes down to family. I know there have been colleagues that have really disappointed us during all these last few years, and hurt us. I get it. Like I do. I get it on every level. Okay. We've gone through it too. We've lost lots of people in our lives, and maybe in the end it's a blessing, right? Let's face it. But I mean, the thing is that just because you forgive and let it go does not mean you're condoning their behavior, that you are going to be in relationship with them. You don't have to be.
This is about you.
This is about you being at peace and a place of acceptance in yourself.
And not being attached.
Yes. To whether or
not someone says, I'm sorry.
That's right. If you sit around waiting for someone to say that they're sorry for something they don't even want to admit that they did or don't know that they did, even, because there's lots of cases
Could
of
be
that too,
unconscious,
you
yeah.
guys.
Mhm.
There's lots of cases of people going, I didn't even know I did that. I didn't know I hurt you. Because they're just operating with their own resources. That so many people, how many people have you experienced? They barf all over you, say all this bad shit, negative shit, like really hurtful stuff. And they literally don't even know that what they said was hurtful.
And
They're like,
half
what?
an hour later, it's like,
What's the problem?
do you want a cup of tea?
Yeah. Like, why are you upset? I don't understand. So that's their own ignorance, right? That's they're dealing with their own, filters, their own set of perceptions and beliefs and whatever. Okay. So I please, okay, just hear me out on this. You can forgive people and not hold even any negative, like, feelings towards them. And my other caveat to that would be unless it's warranted or appropriate, because it's okay to feel negative emotions, you guys. We're not saying don't ever feel a negative emotion. We're
They
not
play a
saying
role
that.
because it's part of our psychology.
Of course, you can have a negative response to somebody or something, but it's just about whether or not you hold on to it and let it
becomes part of the triggers.
Yes.
The compounding effect.
That's right. That's right.
Create a bigger trigger later.
Yes, that's right. And and that's great, Marianne. Like you said, like you have told people you forgive them. You know what? You don't even have to tell them. You just have to do it in yourself. You just have to go inside into your heart, drop down into your heart and connect into your heart and just do the work even inside yourself. You don't even have to tell them. All right. You can talk to their souls. Even if you're meditating, you can connect in with their higher selves and you can talk to them there. All right. That's a much more profound way to do it than talking to their personalities. Because trust me when I tell you, their personalities are probably going to disagree with you.
Okay. So
right?
I'm going to put this up, right? Because it's actually quite important. And it's important for one reason, is that this particular weekend,
no way.
okay, this particular weekend,
yeah,
which is the same weekend, right, that we are doing our course, 24/5/6.
Yeah.
Right. Is a very powerful, energetic time on planet Earth. Okay? Extremely
There's
powerful.
a huge planetary
this
alignment.
Is part of the shift.
Yeah.
Okay. From top down control to bottom up, right? Being.
So Lyle, I wasn't aware of that protest happening, but you chose a good weekend. Chose a good weekend to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
There needs to be a 2.0 convoy.
Yeah. Well, we
right?
were even, one of our friends before we left Thunder Bay said, you know what? We know now that Bernice, what's his name? Bernice, whatever, and Pierre Poilievre are not going to be the answer. We need to start a truckers 2.0 political party or something like that. It's just like, go for it. If that's your jam, go for it.
But here's the thing is that it becomes an issue of relevance. All right. So I firmly believe that these people, these individuals that feel that they are the ones that need to be in charge, right, are going to be scrambling to find ways to remain relevant to the people. Okay, because they're becoming irrelevant. Right. So again, this comes down to what do we want instead?
Yeah.
Right. We have to create something. And Buckminster Fuller said this. You cannot solve the problem, right, with the same level of energy that created the problem. You have to get out of it. And you have to create something new so that the old becomes, or what you don't want, becomes obsolete. Okay, so what do we want instead? How do we go about doing that? And a big portion of this is for us to do our inner work. Get that shit squared away.
Even if you're
And
someone,
And then you
Sorry.
have more clarity.
You do have more clarity, and you have more internal, you have resources, and you're more empowered, and you'll be able to attend a protest or convoy like Lyle is suggesting, and be able to stand in your truth and in your power and not let any sort of external forces, perceived authority shake you, right? Or trigger you and bring out that sort of like, whoops, that negative, like that really forceful response.
And I will say,
it might be.
the Trucker 1.0
Yeah.
did a great job of that.
Yeah.
Because there was actually evidence of that. So we know we're well past the tipping point. We just need to help it along. And the big portion or big way we can do that is to work on ourselves.
Yeah. I don't even know how, honestly, I don't have a strong opinion about whether or not doing another convoy is a good idea. I'm just sort of like, everybody has a role to play. And if that's the role that certain people feel like they need to play to be a part of this sort of transition, then I say, if that's what calls to you, if you feel called to do that, then do that, right? Do that. I'm not going to argue with that.
It all plays a role, and it all plays a role in awareness.
Yeah.
Right? Which is an important concept to change too, because we have to become aware in ourselves of our stuff in order to make the decision to do something about it. So we don't want to keep you folks any longer. It's been great to chat here because I love the comments.
Well, we have a few more minutes. Look, see, there's that 222 again.
Oh,
isn't that crazy?
Crazy, eh?
I can't believe
222s going on.
I've been seeing 222 in a row, like 222. I've been seeing it for like 2 or 3 months now, steady, like just steady.
So it's
I would be, see, this is where we talk about different levels of psychology. Okay. There are those who are at a certain level of psychology in the population that will be all for doing protests and convoys and, you know, being in that political, even politically driven, right? Like it's all sort of a certain level of psychology. And then there's people who are at a different level of psychology. And again, this is not a hierarchy. Okay. This is not a, I'm better than you. And it's not that. Please understand that this is not what we're talking about. Okay. But I mean, that's a certain level of psychology. So it's like, if that's where you're at and that's what speaks to your heart, then do that. Then there's those people who are going to be the people who think, no, I feel the better way to go about this is I'm going to meditate on this every day, and I'm going to focus on peace and love for our world, and whatever. Okay. So that's going to be a whole other crazy powerful too. Right. So that's going to be a whole other level of psychology of, a group of people at that level who are going to operate like that. And then there's going to be people like us who are like, hey, you know what? The role we want to play is we want to help to bring people together, right? We want to empower people. We want to
help people clear their stuff
away, because we know when people do that has a great effect on the field. And then we create a whole different collective consciousness on the planet. Right. So this is just all different levels of people that are playing all different roles, and all of them are significant. Okay. All of them are important. All. And I have a belief, you guys, believe it or not. I have a belief that those of us who are here on this planet at this time, okay, those souls who chose to incarnate here at this time, we are here for a reason, okay, and a really big purpose. And this, everybody's here for a purpose, but I would say that those of us who have felt called to be involved in the freedom movement, just to give it a
frame of reference.
Okay, those of us
that think differently,
and let's face it, we do. And we've been very condemned for that. We've been ostracized for that. But anyway, think outside the box a little bit. That's what we do. But those of us who came here at this time for that, we have this greater purpose calling us. All right. If you would agree, let me know in the comments. But I believe we all came here to play our part in bringing the planet to a much higher level of, I'll just say existence, consciousness, frequency, if you will, to play our very key roles in the we don't have to tear down the empire that is dismantling right now.
It's
Okay.
doing that on its own.
It's doing it on its own. And there's lots of reasons why it's happening. Like Kevin mentioned, there's these cycles, okay, that are ending right now. And so that's a part of it. There's like the fact that humanity has elevated its consciousness collectively, which also plays a part because it impacts the field, right? I really do believe that whole Simpsons thing, that cartoon, was it Simpsons? Futurama, right? Where tell the story, Kevin. You can tell it better than I can.
Well,
I think
there's
that's what's
clips,
happening right
and
now.
I've tried to find it, but it didn't, and it's not around, right? And I don't know why.
But we
right?
saw
But
it.
we saw it. It was just during
years ago.
the CV nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, what it was an agreement between the secret Space Force and the reptilian aliens, right, to harvest people from planet Earth, right? Because humans had done that to the reptiles or whatever, so they were like tit for tat, right?
Yeah.
But it's very interesting because an eye for an eye makes everyone blind, right? And that's from Greg Braden, and I believe it 100%.
It's true.
Wherever it came from, it's bang on the money.
Yes.
Anyway, this episode was about them starting to round up humans and put them in camps, right? And then the main character in Futurama, I think one of them that has the one eye or whatever, I don't even know the character. Don't watch.
We don't usually watch it.
Starts singing "All You Need Is Love."
The song.
The song.
All you need is
but it is
love.
in such off-key frequency
tone. Yeah.
Right? But think about the metaphor here. The aliens or the reptilians all of a sudden, oh my God, I can't stand it. Next scene, all the spaceships leaving Earth.
Yeah.
Right? So think about this as a metaphor because it's showing us in front of our face.
Right on a silly cartoon on television.
What the friggin' answer is.
It is. Yeah.
Right? What the answer is.
And
the way to get to that point.
Yes.
Right? Collectively is to let go of our shit.
We got to let go of that shit, you guys.
We have to let go of that stuff, man. There's freedom on the other side.
There's freedom on the other side. And we don't need to go through necessarily the same process, extreme process that this character on the movie The Game went through.
Yeah.
Which was extremely
extreme
intervention. Like we're talking physical violence and like mental, like mind fucks.
Perceived violence.
In other words, we don't have to wait till it gets worse, you guys. Mm-hmm. We don't have to wait till it gets worse to do something about it. And if we can raise our frequency by clearing away our stuff, getting more clear, getting more in touch, right, with that higher self source connection, whatever you want to call it, then that's the way that we're going to be able to have the greatest impact, okay? The greatest impact, we believe, on this planet, okay? In creating this new world that we all know we want, you know? So it's a great place to start. Definitely is a great place to start. So we encourage you to
consider the weekend that we have coming up. I know that Lee's that's on here can speak to the effectiveness of this process. But we strongly encourage people to consider it.
Yep. So, and again, you just DM me if you want more information. But actually, it's on our website, is it not? Is it on our website?
Again, I'm setting my computers back up today.
Yes, so Kevin has been going through computer withdrawal, because he hasn't had his computer set up for like weeks. So it's been very hard for him. So
I need to mainline some of that.
Yeah, this is why we have to go to Home Depot right now, because we got to get bolts.
I got to get bolts for my table.
The damn bolts you got yesterday aren't going to work. So anyway, but yeah, so you guys know what we're talking about because we've said all this stuff before. Okay. And you know where to find us if you want more information on our training that's coming up. It's a hugely experiential weekend. This is not just us yik, okay? This is not just learning. It's doing. Okay, this is actually experiencing the transformational work. So it's a very, very powerful weekend. It's a wonderful way to...
It's a great foundation.
It's a great foundational knowledge and the experience will help you to kick the snowball off the mountain, we'll say.
Thanks, Marianne, for that reference.
Of personal transformation.
The tower has to come down. And guess what? Right? I actually had a domain called throwinthering.com.
Yeah.
Right? Where people could actually just put their name and email and then see the video of the ring going in the fire and the towers coming down. But essentially, that's the metaphor.
Well, that's what we changed our Truth and Freedom group on Facebook. It's a private group. We changed the name of it to Throw in the Ring.
Right.
Just to satisfy Kevin, because that was his thing.
No, but that's the statement we can make, right? As humanity, to say, what? Enough of this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And they had to come together. Like, that's another great story, too, because they had to come together. All of the different races, types of people that did not actually like each other. They actually had to come together and work together to take down this evil. But it really was, it took that unity to do it.
That's right.
Didn't it? Yeah. But they had to get over themselves first in order to be able to come together.
What? Fighting next to an elf? Oh my goodness. Oh.
Yeah, they had to get over their
fighting
egos.
Next to a friend?
Yeah. They had to be humbled. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, yeah.
Enough.
But anyway, we want to thank you guys for being here, and Happy New Year again. Welcome back. Yep, welcome back. And we do actually want your opinion.
One question.
We want your opinions. Okay.
That's a question.
I always have questions, but I want to know from you guys.
Why is the sky blue?
Kevin, stop. Jeez, honestly, I want to know from you guys. What time of the morning? What time of the day do you think would be most appropriate or best time for you guys? Because we're trying to work out the timings. We still would like to do it in the morning. Mm-hmm. And now that we're in Alberta, we're obviously on mountain time. Mm-hmm. So we did it today at 9:00 mountain time, mm-hmm. right? Which is fine. That's fine for us. It's 11 Eastern. But let us know what you think, because we want your opinions, right? And we'll consider your feedback. Okay. But for now, we're going to stick to Wednesday, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Wednesday, once a week.
Wednesday next week.
Lori
so
likes
far.
Mornings, okay.
Okay. So mornings.
Yes, Lori, we'll send you a PM for a coffee date.
Yes,
sure,
we'll definitely get a hold of you for that. But next Wednesday, then we will be back at 9:00 Mountain Time, which is 11 Eastern. Okay. And in the Maritimes, that means it's at noon. So we'll do that for now. And if we get some feedback from you guys, we'll adjust accordingly. So for now, next Wednesday, we will be here at 9:00 Mountain. All right. So remember too, that we do want to work our way off Facebook. Oh my God, it's such a process. So if we could get you guys to
be careful of the psyop.
Yeah.
That's happening right now.
It is definitely happening.
Right? Zuckerberg is now headlines, free speech, blah, 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 and X and blah, blah, blah.
And even
be very, very cautious of the psyop. Because as soon as people start speaking their mind, they're profiling you.
They're profiling us anyway.
But they're getting you. They're getting all that data.
It doesn't matter. The point is they still just have too much control, and we want to get ourselves,
very careful
onto our own website. So kevinandava.com. So if you could at least go there, and they can put their email in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you at least go there and put your email in, then at least we have that connection too. Yeah, we get it. We get you only have social media, Lori. We get it, or Facebook.
No, but you do have other social media, and it's called the unionofhumanity.com.
Yeah, if we could get everyone to move over there,
over to that,
then we know there will be no
I will
problem.
Not censor anyone.
Yeah, because
I will not track, and I will not data scrape, and I will not do any of that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
That really is the solution, honestly, is the unionofhumanity.com. And we will,
it's a place for us to collectively put our resources so that we can affect a major change on planet Earth.
Yeah. It's where we want to come together and talk about this stuff and really collaborate, right? So anyway, that's the goal.
It's
an
intense platform.
It is. It's got everything you need. But anyway, so that's the ultimate goal. So we need to
check it out.
We need to move people over there.
Check it out.
But anyway, yeah, so we'll leave it at that. So you guys, again, thank you so much for supporting our mission here and for being here and chatting with us, because it's so important to us to have that engagement. Okay, it really, really is. And we appreciate you
Oh, there's some
all
yaks. Look at the
so
yaks.
much. Oh, there's the big yak.
There's the yaks.
Oh,
right
nice.
there.
I got to get my boots on. I got to go outside and start petting some of these animals out
See
here.
the yaks.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So thank you guys so much for being here. We'll see you next Wednesday at 9 o'clock Mountain, 11 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock in Atlantic Canada. And that's that, eh?
Yeah. And
Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. And again, remember, we have our course coming up over Zoom. So you can be from anywhere doing
Anywhere on
it
the
this
planet.
time. It's not necessarily in person this time. It's the 24th, 25th, 26th weekend, and we still have space, so we would love to have you join us if you'd like to do that. And have a great day, everyone. Have a great week. Thank you so much. And I'll say this, if nobody today yet has told you that they love you, I will say
we do.
we love you. Okay, we
Yeah,
definitely
super
love
appreciate
you,
everyone that's watching.
and we thank you
now
all
and is
so
going to
much.
watch. 100%.
Yes, so let's do this, you guys. Let's do it.
We have it in us.
We're on a mission. Let's make it happen. Okay,